dicey, but now he looks really solid, and I'm excited to see him come out and play today and show us what he's got.
Well, what are we going to get to see from both of these teams? It's going to be May, Reaper. I mean, it's essentially a mirror match.
It's the Meeper comp.
Meeper comp. Okay, that's what we're going to go with, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, mirror match composition coming out here. So it just comes down to which team's better.
Watch for the aggressive plays from the Reapers. Sometimes they can teleport into the backline to look to get those sneaky pickoffs, get the sneaky damage in on those Diva mechs. Looks like one of these players, August, is going on the flank already.
Yeah, coming around from the side, where for City Drop Bears, they basically just opened the front door, keeping an eye on both Reapers in the fight, trying to put as much damage in as they can. So far, August is having a slightly better time of that, but Young has caught up and also finding the first couple of picks, so he must have heard me. He's turned things around quite quickly in favour of Sydney Drop Bears, and once you see those first couple of kills go their way, the rest of the fight most certainly will as well. There won't be the numbers there from Mindfreak to continue this contest. That is a very nice fight from Young to start things 86% up to the Death Blossom. Blizzard's at 84% as well for Winter, and that's phenomenal for Sydney Drop Bears. Look at the ult economy that they have compared to Mindfreak.
The big difference is Shoyo and Kiki there. Shoyo managed to get a nice angle and do so much damage that fight. He's sitting at 94% on his Diva Bomb already. Sydney Drop Bears are going to have whatever ult they want to play with, they've got it this fight. I think once this Mei Wall comes out of the situation, I think that Shoyo might look for this Diva Bomb early.
Lots of work that needs to be done then from Mindfreak. Someone's going to need to step up here, have the impact. Maybe Aki, if he can get a good coalescence across here, get a target down low, something like that. A little bit of luck goes the way of Mindfreak, but I feel that's the only way that they win the fight here. And we're talking about the coalescence. It has been invested by Aki. Sydney Drop Bears just backing away for the moment, not too keen on taking the fight just yet, but as soon as they start to pull ahead, they may well pull the trigger. With that said, however, Winter goes down early off the back of a nice halt there from Bus, and the follow-up is good. Young going to try and jump on in and cause a ruckus. He will indeed as he gets Addy. And the sound barrier goes down from Sydney Drop Bears as well. They're going to look to re-engage this fight, turn it back around in their favour. They've done just that. Mindfreak, they had an opportunity for a moment, but they didn't take grasp of it.
They certainly didn't, and that was the highlight for me, was the poor teamwork out of the Sydney Drop Bears at the start of the fight. They used those two ultimates that got no value off it. Shoyo sent that bomb as soon as he saw that wall dissipate, but he didn't get any value out of it. The coalescence came through from a Kraken, but they didn't manage to capitalize on it. Luckily, Young bailed them out with a nice Reaper ult there to get them even back in the fight. Winter, now this Mei ult, what is he going to be able to get with it?
Once again, Mindfreak positioning fairly similarly around to the right side of the point. They'll make their way up through the front door once again. Still looking for that Blizzard out from Winter, but he's not going to get it. August, where on earth does that come from? 4 kills with a Death Blossom. He gets a 5th on the Dreamer as well. And he's just absolutely pounded Sydney Drop Bears.
He's done well there. He tracked the ultimates and he tracked the defense matrix on Shoyo's mech quite well. Got himself into a nice position and took full advantage of it. That Reaper ult can shred through players if they don't have their invulnerabilities ready. So great work from August to keep track of that fight and really turn it for his team. But how are they going to hold this? What's their plan? They've only got the one ultimate to work with at the moment. Sound barrier is going to be vital.
Winter's Blizzard's potentially going to be pretty vital here for Sydney Drop Bears.
He's held on to this Blizzard the whole round, and Kiki's absolutely amazing at eating these Blizzards. So it's going to be tough, but he's throwing the ult out already, Kiki!
Yeah, and that's going to open the door right up for Winter. Looks to be a pretty decent Blizzard. His opposing May should surely get caught in that one, although Addy does survive. Having his own ice block available has kept him pretty safe for the moment, and now a counter Blizzard could well come out, however. Addy down. I mean, that's not an option anymore. I hear a sound barrier go down. That's from Mindfreak. And then again, they'll look to re-engage this fight off the back of Kiki and August, starting to find some damage. Young has done a good amount of damage and built up his Death Blossom. But it's not enough to win the fight, of course, for Sydney Drop Bears. And now Mindfreak are getting within striking distance.
That was very worrying when Kiki sent his Diva Bomb out there. They managed to counterplay the Blizzard well. Bus almost went down, but managed to get bailed out just in time. And that allowed August to shred through the opponents. As soon as their cooldowns were down, as soon as that beat drop came out from Swilko, he just ran in there and he really did cause a ruckus. And Addy's already got to pick off onto Fluoro, who was closing it on his beat drop. Drop Bears are going to be forced to back off here.
Yeah, instantly you have to disengage. The wall is great. August also throws the Death Blossom in there. I wonder if it was even necessary. Regardless, it will secure 2 kills, and that might actually just win the point for Mindfreak here.
Drop Bears still have time to get a recontest off, but with this Mei wall, it could be very tricky. They need to not all go the same way. They need another plan to touch the point, just in case things go wrong. They have a lot of ultimates to work with here. Show you with the Diva Bomb.
Do have the contest, of course, there from the Diva. What can Young do here? He's got the Death Blossom available, looking for the opportunity to use it. He'll see that self-destruct going across. He sees everyone in the middle of nowhere, but the barrier does come down to prevent some of the damage. Still, August is going to fall, and Sydney Drop Bears, they're turning it around. At the 11th hour, 99% coming up for Mindfreak. It doesn't seem to matter. Sydney Drop Bears, they're not feeling the pressure. They'll win the fight. There's probably still one more that needs to be won here, though.
Certainly, I think they'll be able to just get a touch in time, but they've got no ultimates to work with on the side of Mindfreak. It's going to come down to that teamwork execution. Swilko's waiting in the wings. He's going to be the one to touch.
Well, Kuki already on the ball as well.
Here he comes with Swilko, gets taken out immediately. This is disastrous signs for the side of Mindfreak.
Yeah, August half HP as well as he comes out of his fade. Unfortunately, that's not really going to be too fun at all for Mindfreak. It was a stoic attempt. It was a good attempt. And coming back into that one, they make it to 99, but Sydney Drop Bear's just too strong. Swilko gets back for another contest. But for all the good that's going to do for Mindfreak, as round one goes the way of Sydney Drop Bears.
Strong signs from the Sydney Drop Bears early. In these 1v1 fights where they're not using any ultimates, so the dry fights or the rollout fights as we like to call them, that's where Sydney Drop Bears is going to shine with their individual experience and their individual expertise. But you saw when those team fights came up and their ultimates started coming out, Mindfreak's teamwork just prevailed a little bit stronger. So this King of the Hill round, if Mindfreak can get the capture point first, they might be instead to hold it for the whole thing. Just how strong their team play is.
I didn't get a chance to ask you what your general opinion of this match was going into it, but I know we talked about it last week. You were sort of leaning on Sydney Drop Bears. Do you think there is an opportunity for Mindfreak to win today?
I think there definitely is. And as I was saying before the matchup, Kiki and Shoyo, that's the main matchup. Kiki's been amazing on these scrims at eating these Mei ultimates, and if he can get Winter's number, then that's going to be a big benefit for the side of Mindfreak, because that Mei ult causes a lot of trouble. Winter, probably the best Mei player that we have in this tournament too, so I don't expect him to be giving out freebies.
Oh, we're going to see some Hanzo for the first time today from August. Young is going to still continue with the Reaper for now.
We also see the Baptiste coming out. Now this is going to be a ring around the rosy type situation for these teams, as the team with the Lucio, the Sydney Drop Bears, will try and catch Mindfreak off guard. Oh. Mindfreak can keep their positioning here though. It's very, very powerful with this Ana on the high ground. They have to contest the point? No, they don't. They just give it up.
Sydney Drop Bears losing a lot of HP there, but they do manage to take control of the point, so I guess you'll call that a win for the Drop Bears at this point.
Yeah, and they don't have to show anything here. They need to wait until Mindfreak go into point and then go as 6 and burn down whoever tries to contest. Kiki is that man at the moment.
Kraken, almost the one to lead the charge. Dreamer does end up getting in there, but a Kraken's low. Coalescence should come out here shortly. Too late to save Dreamer, but is it enough to turn the fight around for Sydney Drop Bears? I'm not so sure after having lost their main tank that it's going to be too easy for them, but once again, Young is able to do some really good damage. Fluoro also, as you say, booping Bus away. And the Meis are, well, throwing some ice at each other, neither going to go down just yet. Addy's certainly in a rough position though. Dreamer has swapped off onto the Wrecking Ball to get back to the fight quicker, although it seemed unnecessary. He's going to have to deal with it now. But we've seen Wrecking Ball actually work on this point.
Yeah, it can work very well if your players aren't paying attention, they play close to the edge, but that main thing there was they couldn't get any value out of the Baptiste. Everyone was spread out. You couldn't throw the lamp onto the point because it was already too late before people had died, and Bus went off the map, so that doesn't help at all. See, Sydney Drop Bears are really playing the rotations well here. Nyang managed to get into the backline and get a free kill on August too. He's really shut down those line of sights. Now, what can the Sydney Drop Bears do to hold this point?
Well, August is very far behind when it comes to the death loss. We've got to look to build that one up as quickly as possible. Oh no, Fluoro's got another one. August is off the map. Sound barrier's down from Fluoro. And Sydney Drop Bears fading out that blizzard. Looks like we see another Reaper going off the edge. This time it's Young who got booted by Kiki. Dreamer has managed to get bust as well. But the numbers are there for Sydney Drop Bears right now, and that's what the problem is for Mindfreak. They can't actually take control of this point. We're up to 92% already. Kiki desperately trying to deal with these remaining stragglers. But by the time Mindfreak actually flips this over, it's going to be 99% for Sydney Drop Bears.
It certainly will be, and Fluoro was just a menace there. He was playing on the top of that little pillar, on the walls there, just causing a ruckus. If anyone could get him off the pillars there, they would have kept that point so much easier. But now it is, as you said, 99-99. Drop Bears, they have a big ultimate advantage though. They held their nerve and were disciplined. They didn't try and win it out straight. They just said, let's build the ultimate economy, let's go next, get the fight win, and that will close out the map. But can they execute these fights? August already with a pick on Winter.
We're going to have to wait this one out, I think. Sydney Drop Bears. You could see what Dreamer was trying to do though. He was swing through that doorway, pop the mines out, and get a pile driver through onto all of Mindfreak. We saw him do that last week in the semi-finals against Warriors. That was kind of what pushed Sydney Drop Bears actually through to their win on Dorado.
It certainly was, and that supercharger from Bust is so powerful. The Hammond's been slept here on the side. Is he going to get punished for it?
Oh, Young,
no,
what a
Young's
bait!
in!
Oh, I don't know. That might have been an overextension, really, from Young. You could tell he was trying to help Dreamer out, but has he invested too much there with the Death Blossom? It's a 2-for-1 trade, all things considered. Not too ideal for Sydney Drop Bears, unless Dreamer could do some damage, and I think he might just be doing damage to himself at this point. No mines. If he would have got the mines down, it could have been really disastrous for Mindfreak, but in the end, Sydney Drop Bears will lose the fight. A lot invested by Mindfreak, though.
That was classic save your mate syndrome there. They all went to go save Dreamer. He was fine. I mean, yeah, he might have got taken down, but you take that loss. They used 4 ultimates there to try bail Dreamer out and make a fight that they didn't need. Now, Addy with the Blizzard can win a fight basically off that. Dream's still on this Wrecking Ball. I think that's cost them a lot here. These mines come out now, but what is it going to achieve?
Perhaps too little too late. Everyone seems safe from these mines. In fact, they're all dead to the Blizzard, I think it was. Regardless, not an issue at all for Mindfreak. August does get caught by Winter, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. Who gets back to this one faster? Probably Dreamer. He's actually swapped on the Reinhardt. That'll be the first time we see a Reinhardt since the 2-2-2 lock. If he gets back onto this point, can do some damage. Maybe
Young
there's
slept
something
in
to
the
be
back.
said.
Young slept in the back very low, and he goes down straight away. This Nano Boost is going to come out too to keep one alive. It's Bust. Nobody off the map from that boot from Fluoro.
And a Kraken, his Coalescence is kind of getting blocked by his own team's May wall. The only success that's happening here for Sydney Drop Bears is a Kraken getting rid of the Bongo. That's not too much of a success, all things considered. Tuco on the point, dancing around, able to keep himself alive, and the rest of Sydney Drop Bears.
That's a big charge!
Oh my god! Are you serious, Smash? What have I actually just witnessed? He gets 3 off the map, maybe. There's still a chance here for Sydney Drop Bears. Young is back on the Doomfist, putting that damage into Kiki. It's a 1v1, but Doomfist wins this one every day of the week.
Don't count Kiki out! They've managed to win the point. Mindfreak from nothing. Dreamer with the heroic play. It wasn't enough. Gets 3 off the map. What a god play from Dreamer.
I don't even believe what I've just
What
seen.
a way to start a semi-final, Jordan.
Well, I think everyone's practicing their punk moment for Melbourne Esports Open.
They certainly are. No, that would have been beautiful on the main stage, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Here we see a replay of it. Here comes tearing through like a wrecking ball. Forget the wrecking ball, Dreamer. Just get on the Reinhardt, son.
I can't believe that. And then the fact that it ends up being a 1v1, Young, I actually thought he was going to win that, but he sort of uppercutted straight into the self-destruct range.
He handled the mech very well, but he didn't handle the Baby Diva. Kiki, he loves to be on the Baby Diva. It's weird. He calls it, he's unleashed when he's out of that mech. He does so much damage to Nyan there. But now we see the mirror comp. And this is where the Mays come into their own. If they can get the point presence like Sydney Drop Bears has and get one good wall off, that will steal the point. As Winter goes down.
Winter got frozen, and Aki was able to finish things off. Nicely done by Addy. Gets his counterpart into a sticky situation. And the May wall does go up. That's going to be a real problem for Sydney Drop Bears, as you can see. Mindfreak with some renewed vigor after having won the second round of Nepal, coming straight back into the swing of things.
And this Mindfreak team, they are a very emotional team. When they're feeling high, they're playing so well. When they're feeling low, they go missing sometimes. So it's a big emotional swing, a big morale boost for that second round to go their way. Especially after that Dreamer charge, they would have been nervous from that. But now they've come back strong. And how long can they hold this point for? Aki does have the Coalescence, and Addy is closing in on that May ult.
Wall just going to keep Sydney Drop Bears at bay. They're not going to be able to rotate where they wanted to. It was a decent wall from Mindfreak, and there was an answering one from Winter, which will allow Sydney Drop Bears a little closer to the point.
It's very hard to retake this point, though. You don't want to all funnel in. A nice May wall, actually, to cut them off and prevent them from May walling themselves.
Well, here comes the Coalescence from Aki, ticking through quite a lot of the Sydney Drop Bears players, and August able to follow up on that damage as well. A Kraken is the one that falls this time for the Drop Bears. Now surely the rest will go off the waterfall as well. August doing a lot of the damage in that fight, up to 94% of the Death Blossom now.
He's been an absolute star so far on this map, August. He had a really good first round. Second round was solid. Now on the third round, he's proving to be a pest as well. He's played this Reaper very well, knows his limits. That's good. That's a good sign for Mindfreak. August was kind of a question mark going into the season after not having played for a while and playing a totally new role, but he seems to be shining in this light.
Different attempt this time from Sydney Drop Bears, taking the high ground.
I think this is a much safer way to do it, but they are going to be running into 5 ultimates, and they don't have that many on them themselves. They need a little bit longer to build up their ultimates. But a little bit longer will leave it in last buy territory.
Really looking for some good damage out from Mindfreak in this fight. They have all the ultimates. They should be able to win the map from here. It's the Death Blossom from August that starts it off. Kiki with the bomb might have finished it. It's 2 players already down now for Sydney Drop Bears. Said some trades coming back from the Drop Bears, and if Winter gets a good blizzard here, he's waiting for it, tried to bait out the defense matrix, but maybe he's taken a little too long now as he's dove upon by multiple players. Young, he's going alone, and it's not going to work at all. He's focused down instantly. Blizzard here from Winter. He gets the wall up. I'm not so sure this is going to be enough to salvage the situation for Sydney Drop Bears. Once again, Dreamer is back on the Reinhardt, and he is actually pumping out the damage. Up to 60% of his Earth Shadow already, and somehow Sydney Drop Bears are still hanging on.
This Orisa is feeling the pain right now, but Winter on this May, he needs to turn it around. The stall heroes are coming out. Young on that Doomfist again, he goes down. Aki is the hero at the moment. He needs to stay alive.
August, if he dies here, he's at the Death Blossom almost. Somehow still alive again. How on earth has this fight gone for so long? Finally, Sydney Drop Bears get off the point, and Mindfreak will win map 1. That is crazy, the way that that has played out, going even from round 2 into this one. That was a 100% to 0, but it didn't feel like it on Village at all.
No, it didn't feel like it at all, and maybe the wind went out of the sails of the Sydney Drop Bears. They lost the momentum a little bit going into that 3rd round, and if you give up the first point cap on Village, it's really hard to retake. The way the May works, the way the Orisa work, it totals up so long, and you need to get a good flank off, or just one of those big ultimates needs to come out. And unfortunately for the side of Sydney Drop Bears, they never really got value off the Blizzard. Young's Death Blossom went astray, and that's the 100-0 on the point.
Yeah, not really the start that Sydney Drop Bears were looking for, particularly after picking up the first round of Nepal. They had the 2 opportunities to finish things there and weren't able to do that. Now, remembering back to their quarterfinal, they did end up beating Warriors 3-1, so it's not like this is a super dangerous situation just yet for Sydney Drop Bears, but one could almost argue that Warriors are a stronger opponent than than Warriors. I mean, I don't know that. It's so hard to say, right? Because Mindfreak, yeah, sure, of course, they're the team in the semi-final. They should, in theory, be a stronger team than Warriors, but are they? I don't know.
I think maybe early Warriors were a bit stronger, but this late game Mindfreak, they've been turning up. But the Sydney Drop Bears has been on the rise too, so who knows at the moment. Very well played by teamwork there from Mindfreak. That's what really sets them aside. This big charge from Dreamer collecting 3, I think that's going to be a highlight play for a very long time.
Well, the unfortunate thing is it doesn't win them the game, you know? That's like seeing the Punk Diva Bomb on Rialto, and then Order still wins.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that.
You would have loved that. I'm sure you would have loved that, but like, it kind of takes a bit of the shine away from it, unfortunately. Like, yeah, it was a great play, but it didn't mean anything in the end. It was still a loss.
That's a sad thing, but I'm sure he'll still enjoy it. Probably post it up on Twitter and get a few likes off that.
Yeah.
Going into the next map, though, I think there's not room for panicking for Sydney Drop Bears at the moment. They have those individual star players that can come through and shine, and they shine a little bit more on these escort maps, these hybrid maps, even these 2CP maps, the assault maps. That's probably more room for the 1v1 play or just the star potential play. On these King of the Hill rounds, everyone's kind of moving together. The teamwork comes out and shines. So I don't think Sydney Drop Bears are panicking just yet, but it is unfortunate. They wouldn't have wanted to lose the first map, especially.
No, certainly not. We still haven't seen Young on Hanzo either, so that's, I don't know, maybe a bit of a trump card still in the back pocket of Drop Bears.
That's definitely the trump card. And it's harder to play the Hanzo on the control because you are fighting around this point and kind of everyone's moving together. The Reaper excels there because it's that short range damage. Yeah, on Sanctum, you can play the Hanzo a little bit, and we saw August try and pull it out, but they were obviously feeling more confident on the Reaper composition this side of the Sydney Drop Bears. But moving forward, I fully expect to see Young more on the Hanzo and getting those solo picks. He's been very good at that.
Well, more room for openings for the Hanzo on the rest of the map pool where you can get on the flanks and on the angles, that kind of thing. So I think that's what we're looking for. Paris certainly is a map that we see a lot of Hanzo, maybe even a little bit of Widowmaker out here as well.
The Mindfreak team has tried to play this bunker composition on the defense for Paris a lot. They've been favoring this Baptiste, and that can go south very quickly if it's not like rolling into second point. If you stuff up your ultimates or you get late picks or anything like that, it can be very, very detrimental. So will Mindfreak roll with that bunker composition, or will they play something a bit more safer today, being a knockout game?
I'm not so sure. We will have to wait and see. Thinking back to how these teams matched up during the regular season, it was a 4-0 win for Mindfreak in Week 3. Now, that is a long time ago. And it doesn't feel like a representative result of how these two teams should be matching up in the semifinals.
And a lot of things changed for the Sydney Drop Bears. They didn't know what compositions they wanted to be playing back then. It was on a different patch, and they were really struggling with their identity. I believe that's when they were forcing a lot of Young Widowmaker, and they were forcing a lot of Winter Farah. But then they swapped that up a little bit, and they put Young on the Sombra, and they started having way more success at the back end of the season. And that's what got them there. Well, into this position. And so I don't expect that result to be too accurate nowadays. I don't think Mindfreak will sweep this series at all.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be a 4-0, that's for sure. Best case scenario for Mindfreak can be a 3-0. So, looking at how this matchup should be playing out, I mean, obviously for Sydney Drop Bears, I actually look at them and I think the 2-2-2 split probably actually favors them a little bit more than what we used to see in the 3-3, like the GOATS meta. I think this is a better looking Sydney Drop Bears.
I definitely agree with you there. I think getting Winter on a DPS hero and Young obviously on a DPS hero favors them a lot. And they are going to be running with the Young Hanzo. Mindfreak are going to match it with their own Hanzo. The difference is, Shoyo's on the Hog, the Kraken's on the Zen, so they have a lot more pick potential, a lot more little burst damage. At the cost of a bit more survivability. Yeah, the Transcendence is great, but there's a lot of one-shots on the side of Mindfreak. With that damage boost that the Baptiste can provide, you can go to him very quickly.
Yeah, all it takes is some Storm Arrows into the shield, and the shield just goes down. Same with the Mei wall. So it's like you feel safe behind the shield or the wall, but maybe you're not necessarily.
Look for Winter to wall off Mindfreak here so they can't do the cut-off Mindfreak walls. As you see at the moment, they're just kind of poking up a little bit. Straight away, a big nade onto the side of Sydney Drop Bears, and it's just expired.
Yeah, Immortality Field also down at that point in time, so that would have been a bit of a heart stopper for the Drop Bears. There's another nade, but the nade is totally unnecessary. If August is going to hit headshots, Young is not going to survive regardless of whether or not he can get heals.
Tell you what, Aki will see this Roadhog on the side of the Sydney Drop Bears, and he'll be licking his lips, putting himself on a high ground and throwing these nades in. He knows every single one of them can hit. There's no Matrix to eat them up. As long as he gets it past the shield, he's going to get value off it.
So far, he has been.
We haven't seen the suck hook combination from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears. Okay, they swap it up. They see the Ana. Yeah. It's too risky to play no Diva into an Ana because that Biotic Grenade is such a short cooldown and it's such a fight-winning ability.
Yeah, it can literally win the fight off of one ability, which is a pretty crazy thing, especially for a support to be able to do. What a great angle for August as well, just catching a Kraken.
Mindfreak have definitely come prepared for this map. They know where they want to be standing with their snipers and with their Mei to try and get the most value out of these angles. They're really stopping this rotation all the way through now.
Wonder if we haven't given enough credit to Mindfreak. It's sometimes hard to gauge where a team's going to be sitting at when they get that auto burst through to the semi-final, because you see City Drop Bears last week, you say, oh, they look so good. We don't know where Mindfreak are at, but they're looking very well prepared and pretty accustomed to this 2-2-2.
They've certainly done their homework, and that's what you want to see from these teams. You want to see them coming in with these prepared strategies, these set strategies as the Dragon Strike comes out into a big suck.
That is a huge hole. Doesn't look like it's going to end up getting any kills. Eventually, Fluoro does fall, as his Immortality Field did before him. And that's enough to win another pretty clean fight for Mindfreak. I mean, I don't really feel like they've been pressured at all so far, and we're already down to only a minute and a half left for Sydney Drop Bears. Mindfreak haven't even had to fight.
They've been really tested, Sydney Drop Bears, and their strategy hasn't come off yet. They haven't been able to get that rotation that they want to pull them off the enemy high ground. They need to switch things up a little bit here, or they need to execute properly. At the moment, as you said, Mindfreak haven't forced to use anything. It looks like they're going for this right-hand strategy, which is a little easier to execute. The Hanzo will be able to sneak through there. Now we have advantage Sydney Drop Bears in this fight because they're able to force Mindfreak into new positions they haven't played yet.
Yeah, but the ultimates are still there for Mindfreak. Sydney Drop Bears just about to come up on there, so it's important that Mindfreak don't over-invest into this fight. They still need to win one more after this.
Net Matrix does expire from the side of Mindfreak, so that's not going to be able to be used anymore. Young and Winter closing in on their ultimates. The drum comes down from Bust, though. This is going to be a lot of damage to deal with.
Yeah, lots of heals coming out, though, from the Transcendence of a Crack and a Dragon Strike. Opens the account for Sydney Drop Bears. It's the pick that they've been looking for, and now they need to capitalize on top of it. They rotate their way into the point. A good dive from Shoyo is going to pull Kiki off of the point.
This allows that Mei ult to go down. It was free. The Divas were occupied, but the bomb comes out. It doesn't kill anybody. The lamp's there. Shoyo finds Aki in the back. August returns trade. August now popping off.
I mean, it's everyone on Mindfreak, not just August. Sure, he's the one getting the kills right now, but Bust survived for so long, courtesy of the heals. Now Addy returns. There's a self-destruct on the point, and actually Mindfreak are in with the chance of holding on to this point. The respawns are going to come faster for Sydney Drop Bears, that's for sure. But if they can get show you off the point, overtime does just tick on over here for Sydney Drop Bears, and he goes flying. But now we do have the respawns, the cavalry arriving for
Winter's
Mindfreak.
Tracer. What can he do? The Bongo comes back out. The Orissa's there now. The boys are fortifying on the point.
It's important that August survives there, but he does get caught by Nyang.
It's ticking down.
Oh, it almost went. It almost disappeared there, but still, Mindfreak are able to get themselves on the point. Sydney Drop Bears trying to do the same, trying to keep that overtime ticking. I think that might be it. It's
just
Fluoro.
left.
There's no one else that can get on the point. What a hold from Mindfreak. That is against all odds.
It's a complete full hold too. They didn't even get a third on the point, and that comes down to that disastrous first attempts they had. They had 3 attempts where they just couldn't get through any of the choke points. Their nades from Aki came out immediately. That kind of made them swap over to the Diva, and from there they didn't get anything done.
I want to touch on that final hold as well from Mindfreak, because you were sort of pointing out August, and yes, he was the one to find the 2 picks that kind of swung the fight, but the fact that Bus is allowed to stay on that point for so long and survive as well, I think is a massive problem for Sydney Drop Bears there. You know, Bus is sitting on the point, he gets down to about 100 HP, he gets the nano boost from his Ana, and then he gets low again, then he gets the immortality field from his Batiste, and by that stage his shield has come back up. So he was on that point for 15, 20 seconds, taking all of the damage from Sydney Drop Bears. They were literally throwing everything at him, and yet he's still surviving on the point. And that's obviously freed up so much space for the DPS players to get in and do their work. Great stuff across the board from Mindfreak.
I can bet your bottom dollar that Big Bustle would have been screaming out for those cooldowns as soon as they were available.
Yep.
He had a lot of presence on that point, as you said, and if you leave an Orisa on a point like that, he can do a deceptive amount of damage. That hero, if it gets close up on that Diva or the enemy Orisa, he can shred
especially
them.
with a nano boost as well.
Certainly. And that Bongo, if it comes down, signals the end of the fight more than not.
Well, Sydney Drop Bears, I suppose, are going to be looking for a draw here. If they can full hold on point A, at least they go into hybrid at a 1-0 deficit, but that's the best case scenario, really, it feels like.
It's a tough ask, especially on a map like Paris, where there is a long spawn for the defenders on the first point. Luckily, Mindfreak, they had the presence of mind to swap up all to those fast heroes and come back in, knowing that was going to be the last fight, and it was kind of all or nothing.
I love how the picture gets bigger the closer the character is to the camera. Like, did you see how big the hamster just got?
It was a very big hamster.
Because Bust was like flying
swinging in the air. Yeah, it was very cute.
Well, you could just see for the moment there, Bust, I suppose, scouting out, seeing what Sydney Drop Bears had, and stopping back off onto the Orisa, which would be in the expected situation. And an interesting ice wall coming out there from Winter does just cause Mindfreak a little pause for thought. We see the pig on the floor.
This is a position you wouldn't want to be in for Sydney Drop Bears. Their defense has been shredded apart already. They're all out of formation.
Yep. No one's dead yet. That at least is a saving grace.
But they've got to give up all this space that they would have loved to have kept for as long as possible, just like Mindfreak did on their defense.
And you can see Mindfreak really looking to take advantage of that as they push forward. Addy does just get out of the ice block in time. Doesn't keep that momentum going, otherwise he would have found himself in no man's land. But that might as well be where Sydney Drop Bears are right now.
But look how much ult charge Addy has. He's farming off this Roadhog so much, and his ult's going to be the first one to go through on the offense.
He is waiting for that. We've got a Coalescence almost available here for Aki as well. That's why things have slowed down just for a second for Mindfreak. They know that they're really close, but this is going to be the go signal. Aki finds the first one. It's a Kraken down. Young at least able to trade back, but we're going to need more than just a couple of trades here from Sydney Drop Bears, because Mindfreak is going to overwhelm them. Not even with the power of ultimates. It was literally just the Coalescence, and there is no one left on the point to contest here for Sydney Drop Bears. Mindfreak are going to go up 2-0. What a dominant win on Paris.
What a strong statement to come out here from Mindfreak. They looked rusty in the first round. Sydney Drop Bears came out swinging on the pole, taking the first round, but since then, it's been all Mindfreak. I didn't expect them to come out this strong at the start, so hopefully they can keep the momentum going on, but the players will have a little reset now.
I want to revisit what you said at the very start of that map. You said, I don't think Mindfreak is going to sweep this series. What about now? Have you changed your mind?
I don't know. I mean, it looks dire for the Sydney Drop Bears, but I still believe that, you know, they still have that individual talent. If they can just get it in the right positions, if they can get the momentum back in their favor, all it takes is one good attack on the next map, and then all of a sudden, the game's back on.
Well, it's going to have to be a reverse sweep, isn't it? It's best of 5, you're down 2-0, so have to win it out from here.
But the last map is always the hardest to win in a series like this. It's always hard to close it out. The nerves start coming on with one map away from MEO.
Yeah, that's true.
So hopefully Mindfreak can hold their nerve.
For all of those players I don't think any of them played at MEO. Swilko was not on Darksided at the time, was he?
No, he was not. He's not for Season 2. None of these players did play at MEO, actually.
Yeah.
You're right. Kiki wasn't in a team at the time, I believe. He was hopping around.
Yep. So the only players actually in this game right now that played at Melbourne Esports Open will show you on a Kraken, and they actually won it.
Certainly did.
But for the rest, it'll be their first time at a big LAN like that. I suppose, yeah, okay, IEM Sydney is a pretty big LAN in terms of Australian size, I suppose. But
Yep.
for Overwatch, Melbourne Esports Open is sort of the pinnacle.
But even then, I believe none of these players on the side of Mindfreak actually played at IEM either. So it's going to be a big LAN experience for that team. And how they handle themselves on stage if they do win this series will be very, very interesting to see, because it's such a big difference from playing online with your mates in Discord, just hanging out, to going to a big stage. It's very different.
How did it feel for the likes of the Order Boys? I mean, I know that they had a bit more experience playing at the local LANs and the LANs at the ESL studio, but
Yep.
I'm sure they had some trepidation going onto that stage at MEO.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's a big nerve-wracking experience. A lot of these players are very young, and it's the first time they've been in front of a live audience. And being in front of a live audience changes everything. The noise levels go up. Suddenly, it can be difficult to hear your teammates sometimes.
Pressure.
Yeah, the pressure is amazing. It's intense. But luckily, we had good motivational leaders, with RQT being experienced from playing overseas in LAN competitions, as well as some friends that have been playing on big stages before. So that really talked down, settled the nerves a bit, and we were able to get an okay result.
A decent result indeed. But for Mindfreak, they want something better than a decent result today. A 3-0 is what they're looking for. One map away. That's going to be coming on the other side of this break.